hated school. I always did. So when it came to college, well, to be honest, it never even crossed my radar. And it certainly was not something that we talked about around my family dinner table. And I most definitely did not think I would be smart enough. In fact, the only reason that I even learned about the college search process was through my high school boyfriend when he was applying to schools and attending college visits. His family would ask me what my plan was for after high school, as if college was the next logical step. So I thought, I better figure out something to do. I would be the first of my family to go off to college. So although my parents were very supportive, this was all new territory for us. And paying for college was a huge stressor for my family. Along with that hefty bill, preparing to move away came with a lot of other fears and anxieties for me, mainly surrounding my disability. I had a porcelain-valley cyst in my brain which ruptured when I was born, which is kind of like having suffered a stroke. And as a result, I have a form of cerebral palsy. This means that I have a great deal of pain and spasticity on the right side of my body, which has left me with little use of my right arm, hand, and a very weak right leg. So basically, things that most people have learned to do with two hands, I've learned to do with one. Like tying your shoes, or zipping your jacket, cooking a meal, or styling your hair. And thank God for short hairstyles. But some things are still just really hard. And at home, I had people to help me with these things. But what was I going to do when I was at college by myself? And I was so hell-bent on being normal when I went to college that when I arrived at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater campus, I refused to work with disability services because someone may notice that I had a note taker or that I took my tests somewhere else. Instead, I thought I could muddle through it on my own and trying to take a Scantron exam with one hand, I would run out of time taking the exam just trying to fill in those frickin' bubbles. Or during a science class and I was doing a lab assignment, trying to hold two test tubes and trying to measure, instead of just asking for help, I would lose points on the assignment. Also, every 10 weeks, I would have to miss at least 2 days of class to get Botox injections, which help with the pain and spasticity that I have. And yes, I am referring to the Botox that people do put in their face. The difference is, though, that I get between 25 and 30 individual injections, starting in my neck, working down my arm, in my hand, and in my leg. But see, I didn't tell my instructors this. So every time I missed class, I'm sure they were just like, Gina's flaking out. So looking back, it should have been no surprise that my first year of college sucked. So there I was, having a less than stellar first year, and thinking I had made the biggest mistake of my life. This is when I decided I had to transfer. And I decided, so by the following fall semester, I transferred to the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. I was closer to home, I was paired with roommates who were also transfer students, and one of the first things that I did was connect with disability services. Because I finally realized that after my horrible first year, to say, fuck it. If it was not worth sacrificing my grades, if someone knew that I had someone helping me do notes, or that I had extended time on tests, I was paying too much for my education. And let me tell you, what a difference it made. I did so much better in my classes, but let's not get carried away. It's not like I went to being a 4.0 student or anything, but it helped me navigate conversations with my instructors about accommodations I might need, or when I had to be away from campus for Botox injections. But then came my CJ 202 Fundamentals of Public Speaking course with Dr. Judy Sims. Like a lot of people, I was terrified of taking this class. I didn't want to get up in front of the class and do one speech, let alone multiple throughout the semester. I went to Dr. Sims and I begged and pleaded not to have to give my speeches, asking if I could record them or give them individually. Because when I get nervous, my disability becomes much more noticeable, it's very distracting, and quite frankly, very painful. Dr. Sims was very empathetic to this, but explained, given that it was a speech class, I had to give my speeches in order to meet the requirements of the course. She was very willing to make accommodations, such as using a podium or note cards, if it helped for me to hold on to something. As my first speech approached, I remember crying, losing sleep, calling my mom saying, how am I ever going to get through this? Everyone is just going to stare at me. And if I use a podium, which no one else had the option to do, they're just going to judge me. I worried day in and day out about this, and thinking there was no way I would get through this class. This would be the class that kept me from graduating from college. I remember the day I got up to give my speech. I got up and I freaking rocked it. It was awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, my arm was tweaking out and I was nervous as hell, but I knew my stuff. And not only did I have the attention of the room, but they were actually engaged in what I had to say. I remember walking back to my room that day thinking, holy shit, this is pretty cool, and I think I'm pretty good at this. As the semester went on, I realized, heck yes. So I changed my major for the third time to organizational communications, and I applied to be a campus ambassador, and I got it. What? Me, the girl who begged and cried, pleading not to have to give my speeches, now was not only electing to be the center of attention, but was leading prospective students and families around campus, all while walking backwards. All I have to say is thank you, Dr. Sims. Being a campus ambassador was just the start for me. It led to an internship in the admissions office where I found my passion for higher education. I loved talking to students and families about college and all of the possibilities that it had to offer. But not necessarily because I loved school, but because for the first time, things just clicked and I had found my place. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, started working here at Minnesota State Mankato in the admissions office, and completed my master's degree while working in the admissions office. Now I serve as the student relations coordinator for the College of Arts and Humanities. Looking back, had someone told me I would go to college, I would have laughed. And had someone said I would go on to get my master's degree, I would have told them that they were crazy. But I guess it goes to show the people you meet and the experiences that you have all matter. And I guess it's true what they say. Everything happens for a reason. But really, who would have ever thought? Thank you.